right?
Yeah.
They're going to find a way no matter what. And I was like, let me just be a part of the process, you know?
Perfect. Hey, let me ask you now, I got Blasko, you mentioned, we talked on the phone that you said to some, I might be getting the words wrong, that the Black Veil Brides are the poster boys of the disenfranchised of the world, right?
Sure.
Talk about that whole idea and how you and Jason are trying to take that and turn it into something a little bit more franchised.
I mean, I think that in terms of, understanding the marketing of it all
that's what I'm talking about.
is understanding your audience. A lot of these bands and maybe people that, tune into the show or whatever, you have to really zero in on who it is that is going to buy your record or buy your t-shirt or whatever. So many people think that the world is their audience, and it's not, and these guys have a very specific demographic. I mean, it's like the Uber fan, the Uber Black Veil Bride fan has a catchphrase of like, you say Bieber, I say beer sack. And it's like, so it's like, if you look at like, if you look at a high school full of, music fans, right? There's like 90% that are, say, like a Justin Bieber or very, common, safe, music fan or whatever. And then there's another 10% that are fucked up for whatever reason, and they need something to believe in. And Andy was one of those kids, just like I was one of those kids, or whoever. I'm sure a lot of people in the metal world or whatever are those kind of kids. We're a bit of an outcast, or we think a little bit differently. Maybe our hair's squirrely, or whatever it is. But he speaks to that type of kid. He speaks to that 10% or so that are the fucked up kid, and that's his audience. Like, he's the Pied Piper of the disenfranchised music fan, kid in school, and he's their guy.
Yeah, I think it's great to understand what your thing is all about. Shecky, you've done this before, where you've taken bands that are working a different side of the street and managed to get their music into places that people wouldn't have imagined. Are you guys thinking about how to take the band and get them to the next level? And if so, how are you going to do that, Shecky? You did it with Twisted Sister. How do you do it with a band like Black Veil Brides?
Well, obviously it's a different time, a very different time. That was a long time ago. But the fact is, ultimately, the guys, and then I got to give Blasko a lot of credit. I mean, they're very smart about knowing who they are and who they want to be. From the time I first met them, they were like, we want to be Kiss, right? We want to be the biggest band in the world. So the moves that they make are, I mean, look, he always stays true to himself, but at the same time, or they stay true to themselves, but at the same time, they're not trying to be too cool. They're not trying to be too metal. They're just being who they are. Their audience is young kids, right, who are like you said, disenfranchised young kids. And, they're just writing better and better songs. I mean, you can see the progression from the first, the second, the third record. The songs keep getting better, and ultimately they're going to write a song that, will be the modern-day equivalent. I mean, you can't compare songs, but we're not going to take it, obviously, was the thing that turned Twisted Sister into a household name in that incredible, iconic video with Niedermeyer, right? But at the end of the day, it's just about songs. And it's interesting because we've watched, too, and we've been a part of, the second record sold 50% more than the first one. This one will do 50% better than that one. You can almost just watch the growth, and it's just bubbling until we get that hit that's going to cross over. And we may have it, by the way. I mean, in the end is a real, it's definitely, look, it's going top 10 active rock, which the last record got almost no airplay, and the first one obviously got no airplay. So we're starting to break through. Active rock is just at the beginning. I mean, ultimately, if we could get them on pop radio, that's where I think they belong. And once in a while, a real rock band crosses over. And then, the other thing they got on their side, which maybe you talked about before I got on the phone, is the fact that, when's the last time you had real stars come out? There's been a lot of bands, different bands breaking, selling records. But, it's somebody who's got a name. There's been a lot of cool bands, a lot of uncool bands, a lot of bands that look like they just came from work at the 7-Eleven, forgot to change their clothes, but they write good songs. These guys, you get the whole thing. It goes back to when we were kids, and you'd have real fucking rock stars that would walk in, and all the oxygen leaves the room, whatever room they walk in.
Yeah.
And that's what we got here. So, the upside is tremendous. That's how I look at it.